All right, let's talk about one of the biggest shifts happening online right now. It's not just a new app or a trend, the internet itself is changing. We're going to break down the next evolution of the web, Web 2 versus Web 3. And you know, to really get to the heart of this, we've got to start with a quote from the guy who literally invented the World Wide Web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. He's talking about how our digital lives are basically locked up in these corporate boxes, hidden from us. And that's the core problem we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll look at the web we all know and use every day. Then we'll get into what's wrong with it, the whole centralization thing. After that, we'll dive into the big idea that could fix it, Web 3. We'll explore what it means for you to actually be in control. And finally, we'll get real about the challenges it's facing.
All right, let's kick things off with something we're all familiar with. Section 1, the web we live in.
So Web 2, you might hear people call it the social web, and that's spot on. It's the internet of Facebook, of TikTok, of YouTube. It's where we all went from just reading stuff online to actually making the stuff, posting, sharing, creating, and connecting. It totally rewired how we interact with each other.
And this is a really great way to see how it all works. You've got the big platform, think Google, Meta, right there in the middle, acting as the gatekeeper. Our friendships, the content we create, even how we spend our money, it all flows through them.
But yeah, this whole setup, it's starting to show some pretty big cracks in the foundation. And that brings us right to our next section, the centralization problem.
So check this out. In just 1 year, 2021, we saw 1,862 major data breaches.
And how bad were they? Well, those breaches exposed over 4.1 billion personal records. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. That's data for more than half the people on the entire planet just out there.
So, is it any surprise that people are getting worried? Nope. A whopping 81% of Americans are concerned about how companies are using their personal data. The trust is just gone.
So what's the real cost of all this centralization? Well, first, we have almost no control. The tech giants make the rules and they own our data. Second, our data is their product. They sell it for ads. Third, these giant treasure troves of data are a hacker's dream, which puts all of us at risk of identity theft. And maybe most importantly, a handful of companies get to decide what we can and can't say online. That's a lot of power.
But what if we could build it differently? That single question is what leads us to our third section, a new vision called Web 3.
And this right here, this is the core idea in a nutshell. Web 2 is all about centralized control. Web 3 flips that entire script. It's all about decentralized networks. Okay, decentralization sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's about building an internet without a central boss. Instead of one company's computers running the show, it's run by the users themselves, often using something called blockchain technology. Think of it as a shared public record book that can't be secretly changed. This makes the whole system way more resistant to being controlled or censored by any one group.
So this is where it gets really exciting for you and me. Section 4 is all about what this means in practice. You are in control.
So how does that work?
It starts with a concept called self-sovereign identity. Forget about login with Google or login with Facebook. Imagine you have your own digital passport. You own it, you control it, and you decide exactly what information to share and with who. It's your identity, for real.
Let's just put it side by side. In the old way, Web 2, a central authority is in charge. In the new way, Web 3, the users are. In Web 2, the platform owns your data. In Web 3, you own your data. Monetization. Web 2 is all about ads. Web 3 can be about users earning tokens or crypto directly. And privacy. We go from being tracked everywhere to having actual control and encryption. It's a massive power shift, from them to us.
And look, this isn't some far-off dream. It's happening now. Just in the first few months of 2024, the use of these decentralized apps, or DApps, shot up by 77%. That's huge. People are actively looking for these alternatives.
Okay, it's easy to get excited and think this is the perfect solution to everything. But let's pump the brakes for a second and get a reality check. That brings us to our final section, the very real challenges on the horizon for Web 3.
Look, Web 3 has some serious growing pains. For one, these blockchains can be slow and expensive, not great for handling billions of users. The user experience? Honestly, it can be a bit of a nightmare. It's often complicated and confusing. Then you've got the regulators. Governments worldwide are still trying to figure this all out.
And we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Some of these networks use a ton of energy.
And hey, let's not forget what Web 2 gets right. It's just easy. The experience is seamless. If you forget your password, you can get it back in 2 seconds. These are things we totally take for granted, and they're really hard to replicate in a decentralized world. So there are definitely trade-offs.
So what's the bottom line? The future probably isn't about Web 3 completely replacing Web 2 overnight. It's more like an evolution. We'll likely see a future where the best parts of both start to merge together.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. As our digital world gets rebuilt from the ground up, who do you want to be in charge? A handful of companies or you? At the end of the day, that's the real choice we're facing.